back to the range. Today, it is that giveaway build, and it is going to Andrew over at Maple Leaf Customs. Congratulations, Andrew. I hope you like what I did with this van. I don't know what kind it is. I just know it's one of those fantasy Disney vans. So, I'm hoping you enjoy it because I enjoyed making it. So, why don't we head down to the range and let's get started. You know, I'll tell you right now, it took forever to get the paint to strip on this thing. It really did. It was a nice casting. I got it from Chris over at Chris's Junkyard Designs. He sent me a couple of these castings, no wheels. Don't blame him there. I would have stole the wheels too. But I already drilled out the post, had it, screwed in there, ready to go. All I had to do was just take it apart, separate the pieces, and get started on it. Had a metal base on it. So, I had a lot of thoughts about what I was going to do with it. I thought about doing a Mad Max build. I thought about doing a drag style build. So many thoughts ran through my head when I was doing this. I did not know exactly what I was going to do. I really enjoyed doing this, and, it'll be my first overseas giveaway. And don't worry about it. I'll take care of the shipping and everything, Andrew. So don't worry about all that. I'll take care of whatever I have to on my end. But I decided to go off-road style with this van. And not your typical just add some off-road wheels to it. I decided I made a suspension lift, and, I had these parts that I had from Benchwork Toys just laying around. So I used 4 of these, used a piece of hollowed out styrene tubing, for the axle tube, because I ended up using the brass rods for the axles, because they were thick enough to fit inside the tires of the Just trucks that I was using. So I wanted to do something a little bit stylish. Paint job was a little bit original, and I got mixed feelings about the paint job. Let's just put it that way. So I'm not too happy about it, but I'm not too disappointed with it either. I like how it came out. It was really nice. I kind of had a poor choice of paints, I think, but that's my opinion. They always say you are your own worst critic. So, that's a big point of me. I'm always a big critic of myself. So, Andrew, I'm going to be sending this out at the beginning of the month. So, I know it's going to take a while because you're in Switzerland, so it'll be a bit. But I'm definitely going to be sending this and some decals and maybe another custom of mine. So, you at least have something from my shop, my channel. I was trying to go basic, simple with this build. It ended up being one of my longer builds, but that's okay. I wanted it to look good. I wanted it to survive, and I think it's going to do just fine. Everything went together well. It went perfectly smooth together. What I ended up doing to it, I didn't leave it as a van. I'll tell you that much right now. I did a little modifications to it. I know it's a lot of me working on the chassis and stuff. It's kind of sped up a little bit, so it didn't take as long. But I wanted to make sure that the axles fit, so I cut down the axles to the right size just to see if it would roll. And I wanted to find a way to cover up the little old axle areas where the axles would come through at. So I wanted to change it up a bit. And, right now I'm just kind of mocking just to see how it's going to look. And it's going to be pretty neat, I think. Kind of like a rock crawler style, van just hopping along and all that stuff. But, it was fun. With this being my first overseas build, I wanted to go all out. And what I'm doing is I'm taking this old monster truck roll cage setup, and I'm just cutting the spring part, the shocks areas off of it. And I'm going to cut them down, modify them to where I can place them onto the chassis of the base of the van and make it look like they were part of the the base itself, which I'm glad that I did that because it turned out actually looking really good. And I'm just wanting to knock this out before, I got started on the 4 Horseman build, which is coming up soon, towards the end of this month, about less than 2 weeks, I think. So, if those who don't know about the 4 Horseman build, check out the 4 Horseman diecast on YouTube. And they do a monthly build. And this month is a 61 Impala, and the theme is Pro Touring. And for me, that's going to be an easy build because most of my cars almost look like Pro Touring cars. But I think I'm going to go kind of a different style paint, maybe a simple, I don't know yet. But I'm ready to start on that one. But I'm going to do one more video after this one before I start working on the 4 Horseman build. So I'm probably going to be doing a Mad Max build this next video, because I haven't done one in a while. So right now I'm just kind of trying to find a casting to use and what kind. I already got the wheels I'm thinking about using. I just want to find the good enough wheels to use. Or not good enough wheels, good enough casting, I should say. And I got a couple laying around. I got an old Midnight Auto I might end up using, which I might end up doing. Just using the Midnight Auto. Even though it's got a metal base, I can modify the base and kind of tweak it a little bit to where it'll fit. So I think my next build is going to be a Midnight Auto Gaslands version. So I already got ideas of what I'm going to do for that. So hopefully they turn out. And I'm really looking forward to doing that build. So I hope you guys, look forward to, seeing what I come up with. Because it's going to be awesome. And right now, I know I'm talking about something other than the build. But that's how I usually do it. I get sidetracked really easy. And what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that the shocks portions of it will fit being underneath the interior. And don't worry, I got rid of that purple interior. That was like one of the first things I wanted to get rid of. So I'm going to, do that, and I'm going to paint it over. I'm going to add something to it. I wanted to just give it this off-road look. And I wanted just something to just look badass, and I end up doing a lot more than just the shocks. I ended up adding a few things to it later on in the video because I wanted to, like I said, give it that off-road style look. And even though it's already coming up with, I just wanted to give it a different paint job, different wheel stance, just to see what all I would be able to do. And the one good thing about making a truck off-road, the sky is literally the limit. You could go crazy with these off-road builds, and I think that's what I'm going to do with this this Midnight Auto build. I have a feeling I know what I'm going to do with that. And, I'm going to try to make it cool as hell. I'm going to build a custom engine for it. Might even show you that in the video and do the exhaust for it and go from there. But I wanted to make sure that everything was working right. The wheels rolled, the body would go down on top of it and be just fine. And, it was a fun build. This I had a lot of fun doing. It didn't take me that long. I started on it yesterday and I let it sit in the stripper all night until this morning. But I had to take a little wire brush to it just to get off all that excess paint because it just did not want to come off. And that's what you get with these some premium ass paint. They take longer because sometimes with just your normal Hot Wheels and Matchbox, they don't take long. It takes about 20 or 30 minutes roughly with Citrus Strip to get the paint to come off. So, I had to trim some of these shocks up a little bit though to get them to fit, but they looked good. They really helped out with the off-road style look, and it really made it look off-road. And it was really helpful knowing that I had just these spare parts laying around that I could use. And I'm thinking with the Midnight Auto that I'm going to be doing with the Mad Max build. I'm still debating whether I want to even do a Mad Max or just do it a Wastelands build. I'm still kind of unsure about that. But it happens. You know, I got ideas of what I want to do, so I'm just counting down my time, you know, working it. I might just do a patina look on it. I don't know yet, but it's going to have like a pretty cool hot rod style look. And I think I'm going to want to make it to where it'll fit in a case. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that the wheelbase and everything will work, and even if I have to adjust a few things and go from there, I'll do that. It's not that big of a deal, because I've already started prepping some ideas, and you know, just to see what I can come up with. You know, for those who participated in a Three Blind Mice monthly thing on, they did a Truck to Wasteland. You know, feel free to check out the recap video. It's out there now. You know, feel free to check out all those other builders that's got builds coming out. You know, check out my buddy Chris over at Chris's Junkyard Designs. He's got some cool videos coming out. He's got some unboxing videos, some auction videos. He got some cars from auctions, and we got that auction coming up towards the end of this month for Mile High Racing is announced it. So, you know, if you got any castings you want to throw into the auction, just contact him. I got the information on my Instagram. So if you got me on Instagram, shoot me a message if you want to participate in that, and I'll give you all the info I have. You know, we got, Paul from Good Diecast Graveyard. He's got videos coming up. He's been really busy lately, and, you know, it's all good. You know, I understand, you know, being busy, you know, he's got work and everything, so it takes a lot of time out of his schedule. You know, Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, I can't wait to see what his next video is going to be, but he's been busy with his RC car racing, and, you know, from what I've seen, you know, I can't wait to see if he's still going to be doing the Horseman build. He's probably going to be. I can't remember who is the guest Horseman for this month, but whoever it is, congratulations. You know, I can't wait to see what you got. Oh, Gruber. I think. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but I think she's the guest builder for this month. Gruber Designs or something in that general area, and I'm sorry if I screwed it up, but I can't. She does some awesome work, so check out her designs, check out her videos. She does a great job. You know, I think she's up and coming video YouTuber, just like, you know, me and a couple other guys I know, but she does outstanding work, so feel free to check out her videos, you know, and give her a shout out, you know, give her a like, you know, subscribe to her channel. And, you know, back to the van, I was just trying to come up with something to talk about. So the van, you know, what I ended up doing was I cut off literally the back half almost of the camper. You know, I didn't show everything because it took forever to cut this thing off. It really did. You know, I wanted to give it a pickup style look. And it just, like, I hate when it takes forever because my jeweler's saw, I don't know what's going on. I just haven't really been on my game with my jeweler's saw. You know, I try my best, but some castings, they just take longer to Dremel than they do to jeweler's saw. So I kind of jeweler's sawed a little bit of this, but off camera. And, you know, it was just ready to just go. I wanted to sand it down, smooth it out, and took my file. I got a bunch of files. I end up switching a file out here in a minute. Just because, this one wasn't really taking it off like I was hoping it would. So I wanted it to be smooth, be level, make it actually look like part of like it was supposed to be that way. And I didn't mess with the interior that much like I usually would. I kind of left the interior the way it is because it looked like it had boxes stacked up in the back, and I thought I'd keep those just kind of where it looked like had those stacked boxes. But this one, I think mostly this build took a lot of time with the cutting and filing than it did with any other part of the build. And honestly, I enjoyed this like so much better, and I ended up taking a light bar off of a Just Trucks casting, took that off, took the front end of one off, but I ended up gluing that part in after I'd already got the base taken care of and painted, because I didn't want to paint over the detail that it showed on the little portion of the bumper guard that I put on there. And I got the front taped off because I didn't want to get paint on the front end either, because it was already detailed out and going from there. What I'm doing here is I'm taking some solid circle styrene, and I'm making bars for a bed canopy, like you'd see on the military style trucks and stuff. And I'm just kind of using this to put as a brace, as a frame for it. And I ended up putting 4 on the video here, but I actually did a total of 3 because one popped off and I couldn't get it back on, so I just kind of took them all off and made just 3 instead of 4. So it's got 1 in the front, 1 in the middle, and 1 in the back instead of the 4 that you see in the video. So, but it turned out, either way it goes, it turned out like remarkably awesome. See the 4 here, but I ended up using 3 instead. And either way it goes, it looked good. And I had this little piece of window screen just sitting around. I got a whole roll of it, so I ended up using quite a bit of it. Not for this build, but I use it like for other stuff, like diorama pieces for fencing and stuff like that. And I cut it to fit. And what I did was I cut it to whatever size, put a little bit of glue on each one of the little posts down towards the base, and I would line it up and just let it sit there for a minute. And as I was go through, after I'd curve it and stuff, I'd trim it up, and I'd put a little drops of super glue on the frame portion of it. Just as I would curve it over, it would stick to that spot where I didn't have to screw anything up. And it turned out great. And like I said, it messed up, so I had to redo it and ended up doing 3 bars instead of 4. So in the final reveal, you'll see that. So it's got this nice little window screen canopy. I ended up putting like those side portions of it, made it either look like it was rolled up on the sides, or just kind of, that's where it ended at. Because it sort of looks like a safari vehicle. And as I was going through, and I was going through and making this, and I was doing this portion of the video, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to do a safari style looking vehicle when it comes to the paint job. Because one thing I never tried to do was a camouflage pattern on the window screen. And I'm not talking about like U.S. military camo. I'm talking about like tiger stripe camo. Like just stripes here and there, just going from there. And I'm not upset with the way the paint turned out. I'm upset with the paint scheme that or the paint choices, I should say. And here's the base already painted in jet black. And I'm just taking, since most of the casting is going to be green, I'm painting the shocks green. just doing some hand painting here and there, and just I don't do the entire thing. I just do little portions of it. And honestly, I love how it ended up turning out. And the way I do tiger stripe paint is I'll take a strip, cut it down like some really small size. I'll do like some wiggly waves and some like curves, and I'll just make it into the tiger stripe. And I did a base coat with this custom green that I made. It was like a puke lime green kind of look, but I wanted to do that for the base, and I wanted to make sure it was dry before I painted it. And then I went over it with this bright green, I think, this transparent bright green, and it turned out pretty good. I like this color. It's got that jungle effect, and I got pretty much almost all of it. It looks pretty decent, but this is what we started off with. This nice little Sleeping Beauty fantasy van. Not really happy with the paint job, but that's why we changed it on here on Caliber 50 Customs, because we step it up a notch. So I turned this van into what you're about ready to see, and without further ado, let's check out the final results. And I'll see you next time at the range.